Hey guys, welcome back from Classic Work. I got another tool request here not too long ago. It's a company trying to show off their new products out there. Now, the brand name of this company here is called MulWark. I think that's how you pronounce that. I may be dead wrong, but I think they're a relatively new company. This is the first time I've ever heard of them. But I got contacted by one of their representatives for the actual company. And these are relatively new tools that's hitting the marketplace. Now all these are made in China, so I don't expect them to be the best quality, but as far as I can tell, the price on them was pretty decent. So we'll take a look at them and give them a good old-fashioned test and see how good they hold up. We got a file set here. We've got a no-hit center punch, more or less, spring-loaded center punch. We got a set of wire strippers, and then we've got a set of roll pin punches. So we'll take a look at them and see how good or how good they aren't. So I'm going to be comparing them to some of the things that I already have that I know that work good, and then we're going to test them and see if they actually say what they're made out of and if they hold up to be what they are. So let's take a look at the files first. Okay, straight off the bat, we'll just take a look at the case here. According to this, all of them, well, we've got 3 of them that are all 8-inch files, pretty good, decent size. I like 12 myself, that's just me. Shows all the different types that they've got in the set. They got lifetime guarantee on there. Now, I don't know what that's all about. If they're actually, okay, lifetime warranty, if you can read that right on the back. So that's unusual. You don't normally see that from a cheap tool. So, of course, made in China, all that good stuff. They got all their contact information. Follow us on Facebook and all that jazz. So we'll take a look at them and see. And let's see, we'll just go with this one right here. Now these, they're classified as files. That's mighty aggressive for a file. This here's a round one here. The handles seem to be pretty nice. I don't like it come off too easy, that's good. But these are, I'm sure, ABS plastic with some kind of vulcanized rubber compound overmolded, injection molded over it. So that's not bad though. Let's take a look at some of the other ones here. We got one of these big ones here. Oh, look at there. This edge has no teeth on it. Oh, look at there. How about that? This edge has teeth and this one doesn't. That's pretty cool, actually. If it's a decent quality file, that'd be a good lathe file. That's kind of neat. Now this is a double cut bastard file here. So pretty aggressive cut. Doesn't have a lot of angle to it, but not a bad file. We'll test it out and see how well they actually perform. And this here is the round one. Now, one way you can tell cheap files is if you sight them. Yep, that in there's got quite a bit of bend in it, if you can tell it. It's got a little bend over to the left there. I hope they're all not like that. But we'll take a look at the needle files here. Oh, that's super nice right there. Little tiny file. I wish they had made the handles a little bit bigger on these needle files, because it seems like you get after them pretty aggressively, and that right there don't like it hold up too well, but it's cute to say the least. Here's a little triangular file. That's nice and small too. Neat. There's a lot of call for little stuff like that, so that's pretty nice. But let's give them a test and see how good they work. Okay, we're going to give them a test real quick. Now, what separates a good file from not such a good file? The biggest thing is its ability to cut and keep its edge and not clog up. That, to me, that seems like a really good file. Now this one right here, this is a black diamond. This is a really good file. Yeah, I think it's either 12 or 14 inch, pretty good size. So I'm going to show you what a real file is supposed to do. There you go. You can tell that it's picking up metal, but it's very easy to clean all that out. A lot of rust on this file. Now that's a real good clean edge. You can hear how it's biting. This one right here, this is a Napa file. I'm not sure who they got to make this one, but it's also a very good quality file. Once again, you can hear it. It's actually a little sharper than that black diamond. Once again, you can see it building up, and once again, you can wipe it off very easily. So this is just mild steel. This is like 1018, just cold roll. So we're going to test one of these and see how good it does. I'm just going to get the flat bastard here. Now this is an aggressive file. Doing pretty good. Let's see how it does on an edge. Not bad. Rough finish, which is to be expected, but you can see it building up very heavily. You can see right there. So it's an aggressive file. These right here are more mill files. You know, they don't have the double rake cut on them like this one does. So real good roughing file. If you need to move a lot of material real fast, see how it does on the plunge. Not too bad. Sure we didn't break any of the teeth off. Looks okay. Not bad. Now these right here, I'm going to put one with the black diamond. And you can hear that chatter. Now that took less passes because it's a longer file. But it's got some edge damage. You could hear it just, but much finer cut. A lot deeper cut too, but it is a superior file, so not bad. I give that one pretty good. Let's test another one and make sure that it just wasn't that one file. This is the half round. About the same result, so that's good. That means they're all equally heat treated well. It's not bad. Let's see how it does on aluminum. Steel's easy to cut. Ugh. So this here is a strut out of my Volkswagen Jetta's engine mount, actually, transmission mount. Now, fine files don't do a very good job on aluminum because they clog up easy. So I'll give you a test. See how it's all building up? Got all that cake in there, and every one of them will make a scratch. So you have to constantly clean these files with a file card. I don't have one, which I need one, but you can see how it builds up. Let's see how the double rake does against it. Much more aggressive, and once again it's building up too. It's a little easier to remove though, probably because it's new. Not bad though, it does pretty decent on aluminum. If you need to rough something out, not a bad file. Pretty good. Okay, we're going to test the hardness on these files. Now, most people think that a file is super duper hard. That's not always the case. Files are made out of steel. There are things a lot harder than steel. So we're going to test these out right here, and I've got a set of hardness files that actually can tell you what hardness the actual steel is. So I'm going to come over here on the flat side here. Now, not to say that this part right here isn't softer than the actual teeth, but we want to be able to see a result, so I'm just going to give it a little scrape. If you can hear, it's biting in and it's leaving little scratches in it. So it's not 65 on the Rockwell. Let's go down to 60. Let's try again. Less of a bite, but it's still scratching. So let's go down one more. We're down to 55. Okay, it's barely scratching, so I'd say it's probably maybe 56, 57 on the Rockwell, which that's pretty hard. That's definitely hard. So not too terrible. The material will hold an edge for a good period of time. Just to give you an example, let's see what this black diamond is. Now it's going to be hard to tell on this one that because it's got so much rust on it. We'll try 65. Easily cutting that. So let's go down to 60. Still scratching it. Let's go down to 55. You can hear the difference. So this file here is probably 55, maybe 56, somewhere around in that area. So yeah, it's equal heat treat hardability as this one here. So not bad. Okay, the next thing we're going to look at is this little center punch, spring-loaded center punch. Now, straight out of the package, it looks like the handle here got a little bit scuffed up, but seems to be okay. The anvil up here, the business end, actually came with a spare. So in case you hit something too hard or you lose one or something like that, then you do have a replacement. And the way it works is you just pick a spot on your metal here, and this is just cold roll 1018. You push it down, it gives it a little snap action, and we got a nice little spot for center drilling or whatever you want to do. So that's pretty cool. Let's take it apart real quick. They say it's adjustable. You can make it hit harder or less, so I'm just going to screw it that far out, and we'll try again, see if it hits softer. Yep, I can definitely tell that was a tiny bit softer. But they use these a lot. If you're doing a lot of hole layout, you need to center drill a bunch of holes. They also work good at breaking glass. Emergency, like if you get in your car and you ain't got nothing to get into, like if you're underwater or something like that, you can take this and just push it up against the window, and it's supposed to break the glass out. So self-defense kind of tool. That's actually pretty neat. Let's take it apart real quick. Just look, see what all it's got in there. There's here's the anvil, the business end. You can see how it comes apart. This must be some kind of mild steel with some kind of chrome finish on it, because them threads are awful. I'll get a close-up shot of those, but be careful how you take this apart, because it may not go back together the way you think. There's the other spring, so got a lot of pieces in here. Okay, so I'm guessing this right here rides on that. It gives it its snap. That's interesting though. The internal threads look okay. It's just every one of these external threads just looks like garbage. Are they formed or are they cut? I think they're cut, but that's very crudely done. But I'll give a little bit closer look at it. But it works pretty good. We'll test it on something a little harder and see how it does. So let me put this back together, see if I can figure out how to put it back together. I think that goes in here, and this screws onto that. And this goes back in here. So, alright, get it all tight, see if it still works. There you go, still works. Alright, let's get some harder metal and see if it does a decent job on that. This is some tough stuff. This is like very wear resistant. Let's see if it'll make a mark in it. It did. Let's see if we got any damage. It's a little scuff on the end right there. I don't know if you can see that, but it did punch a hole in there. That's impressive. Let's see if it'll do it again. We'll do a couple. Alright, let's see if it's wearing the tip any. Tip seems to be holding up fairly well. I'll do a close-up one. I'll do 5 more holes and then we'll take a look at the end here. Okay, just going to take a look at the tip here, see how fair it did. Not too bad. Didn't roll over. So not bad. Not bad at all. And that was a A400, that's some very tough stuff. So let's test the hardness on it and see what it actually is. Okay, we're going to start with our hardest one, which is Rockwell C65. As you can tell, let's see how hard that is. I don't think it's hardly doing any damage to it. I hear it grabbing just a tiny bit, but not bad. Let's go down to 60. Still grabbing a little bit. Okay, let's go to 55. Still hear it grabbing. Alright, we're going down to 50. It's getting less, but I still hear it grabbing a little bit. Let's go to 45. There it is, that's skating. Okay. So, you can hear it skating off of there, and that is definitely 45. So I'm guessing it's a little harder than 45. Sorry if you can't read that. I'm guessing it might be a 46 or a 47 Rockwell C. That's actually not that bad. That's pretty hard. It's still got to be tough enough to withstand impact without breaking, so not bad. And as we saw in the A400 test, it seems like it doesn't roll too easily. So I imagine you can resharpen this just like you can any chisel, and that's always a good thing. So yeah, kudos to that. That's pretty neat. Okay, the next thing we're going to test here is the wire stripping pliers here. Now, I've used Channel Lock for years. I love them. These are some of the best pliers I've ever owned, so they're going to compete against them because I know these really well. I've had these for probably 5 or 6 years. So let's fight to the death. Dun 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 dun. Yeah. Let's ergonomically, these the handles on these, the plastic is the same thing that the files are made out of, which is that, I'm guessing that's ABS with that vulcanized rubber stuff on there. So not the best choice of plastic. I'm sure it's got good insulation capabilities, so you're not going to get shocked through the pliers. So that's always a good thing. It's got your standard strippers all the way to 8 gauge. That's one more than these actually. That's pretty good. It does have one more. It's got a couple of different crimp options right here in the middle that these pliers here don't have. The feel, these are a little stiff, but you can adjust them here in the middle. These here are good and worn. They're still a little tight. They still won't open by themselves, which is good. But just have to get used to these. So let's do them in a test and see how well they do. Alright, we're going to do a strip test real quick. This right here is number 10 wire, good for 220. So this is solid. See how well it does. Okay. Not bad. Okay, this here is number, I think this is 12 stranded. So we'll go to 12 right here. Might have had it in the wrong hole. Okay, stranded didn't do so good. I may have had it, it says number 12 stranded. That ain't worth a crap then. Yeah, it's not tight enough. Alright, let's see in a cut test, see how well it does. So we'll just cut the ends off here. That's stranded. Pretty good. We'll do solid. Not bad. Let's try a whole wire. This is a whole section of Romex number 10. Let's see if it'll cut all the way through it. That was pretty tough. Now, that's a lot for a just regular wire strippers, but people use them for that, so might as well test it for that. Ain't got no hanging. That's good. No damage to the cutter that I can see. not bad. Now I'm gonna go up against the ones I've used all my life, or most of my adult life, that is. These right here are really good. You can see 12 gauge stranded, no problem there. Go to the other side, no problem. 10 gauge. There we go. Miscut that one just a little bit. Cut test. Easy peasy. But this is an American made tool. You expect it to perform well. We'll do the big cut test. This one here I'll have to do it in 2 bites because my cutters are not as big as the other one. But you can say that was a lot easier. But oops. Yeah, as far as stranded, it did really poorly on the cutting. Here, I'll show a little close up. I'll show a close up here. There's 12 right there. And it ain't got it. That'll go one up. That's supposed to be 14, but it's cutting into the wire. Unless I'm an idiot. No, that's definitely 14. See, I'm still having to pull really hard too. Shouldn't be that hard. See, it cut some of the winding in there, so it shouldn't be that difficult. As far as wire strippers, not so great. The crimps on it might do okay, but wire strippers definitely are not that great. Once again, compared to Channel Lock brand. So you can see there's 12 gauge right there. That's the way they should act. So yeah, not the best. Okay, we're going to test its bolt cutting ability. This here is a 8x32. So we'll thread it into the right hole here. But anyways, you make a mark on your bolt somewhere, how long you need it to be. Then you have it come out the other side here, and you just squeeze the pliers and it'll cut it. Good gracious alive. I'm supposed to shear it. There it went. Finally did it. And then you just pull it back out. And there you go, there's your cut bolt. That was pretty tough. Didn't hurt the pliers though. They seem to still be working. They might be a little better. I don't think they could hold up to that too many times. These pliers are designed to do that. So I'll grab my channel lock and show you. These here are actually in the middle, the 832. So once again, thread it in there. However long you need it. You can see it coming out the back. Let's see if I can do it one-handed. There we go. Yep, do it in one hand. So we'll back it back out. And there you go. Didn't hurt them pliers a bit. See how the cut looks. Yeah, looks fine. So as far as shearing bolts, not great, but it can do it. Oh man, them things have gotten really loose now. Okay, last one is the roll pin punches here. Now, I hadn't opened them up yet, so we're just going to take a look at them straight out of the package. I'll start with the biggest one here. Got a fairly nice knurled handle here, a little sharp, but you need to have something to grab a hold of. And let's see if it's nice and straight. Seems to be. So Yeah, the big one, 3/8 here, not bad. Let's see what else we got here. Uh-oh, I already see a problem. There's one that's bent. If I can get it to do right. That's just a little bit bent, it ain't terrible. That's straight out of the package. Oh, we got another one that's bent too. This one's okay. It's this one. Ooh, that's got a severe bend in it. I'll show a close-up of that, but you ought to be able to see that. That's pretty horrendous. What size is this one? Looks like a 5/64. It may say it right here on the handle. Yep, that's a 5/64. That's incredibly small. But to be pre-bent from the factory, it's pretty rough. Well, there ain't a whole lot that you can really say about roll pin punches. They're good. You got to have them. If you do any kind of industrial work, whether it be tractors, heavy equipment, anything like that, they're going to have roll pins in them. Another nice thing is they also give you a case so you can keep up with them, which that's always nice. And you know, it keeps them from rattling around in your drawers and stuff like that. So very nice. We can test the hardness on them and see how hard they are. They need to be soft enough that they won't flake, but hard enough that they can take some abuse. So we're gonna start. I'll start with a 60. We won't go to the 65. We'll use this big one right here. Let's see. That's definitely cutting it. So let's go down to 55. Still cutting it. So we'll go down to 50. Still cutting it. 45. It's skating a little bit, but it's still grabbing a little bit. Now this is the lowest one I've got, which is a 40. Okay, 40 won't touch it. Okay, so make sure that is a 40. If you can read that. So the 40 won't quite touch it, so I'm guessing it's probably like a 43 Rockwell C, something like that. So very soft, and that makes sense because you do need to beat on them and they not fly apart. So not too bad, other than the one that's bent in here. You know, this steel right here, this is medium carbon steel. It's not going to be anything real special. But as for, you know, punches, looks like the heads on them are nice and centered. Everything about that's okay. I haven't seen anyone other than that one. And you do have some pretty good sizes. They range from, let's see, 5/16. Thought there was a 3/8 in here, but I guess it didn't. 5/16, yep, all the way to 1/16. So, and they've got a bunch of in-between sizes. They got a 7/32. We saw a 5/64. There, I mean, there's tons and tons of in-between sizes, which is always good. So, for the price, not bad. Everybody needs a set of roll pin punches, and they're welcome to my shop. This is actually something that I don't normally have. So, good stuff. Well, I guess, what's the big question? What do I think of them? Personally, these tools, these are economical tools. They're not to be used professionally. They're for hobbyists. They're for, you know, people, weekend warriors, stuff like that. They're not bad tools. Personally, I'd use the heck out of them. You know, they've got some really good aspects, and they're affordable, which is always a good thing. There's a few things I didn't like, but you got to remember where I come from. It's all commercial stuff that I work on, really big things. You know, really heavy. These tools, they're good tools for the money. You're not going to be able to beat that. You know, the reason that some of it is, you know, crusty or not finished very well is because they're having to make a quota. They're having to put out so many million or so many 100 million by a certain amount of time. And they built these on the cheap, and they built them on the fly, and that's the product that you're getting. You know, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Are they better than some other things? Yes. Are they worse than some things? Yes. Is it's all in how you look at it. So for the money, I rate them all at a good 7. You know, they're not professional, but they are good tools. A lot of little things that I really liked about this center punch. I had no idea that it was going to be able to pierce that 400 series steel, because that stuff is super hard. You can't hardly drill through it. So I was really impressed by this. The wire strippers, I do like the extra thick handles on them. They're just, the mechanism itself is just, I think it's made out of a cheaper quality low carbon steel. You know, it may have hardened cutters on them, but every pair, I've even bought good pairs of these and they didn't strip good. So just because they're made in the US doesn't mean anything. What I've learned about wire strippers are, if you find a good set that you like, hold on to them. Doesn't matter if they're Chinese, doesn't matter if they're German, doesn't matter whatever they are. If you like them, then hold on to them. And these here just, they don't do it for me, but they're not bad. The files, these are really good roughing files, especially not just on metal but on wood. You could use these very easily on hardwood or anything like that to, you know, get a good fast concave or a convex on something. So I like the files a lot, especially that they came with their own handles. I can't tell you how many times that I've used piles and piles of files in my life and a bunch of them without handles. And, you know, I know that's a little thing, but it's nice to have it in a kit since it's in a little case. You know, the needle files, those are going to be super handy if you got to do anything real finicky. And as far as the roll pin punches, these right here, these tools are made to take abuse. So just because some of them are pre-bent and they're not super hard, doesn't mean that you're not going to use them. They're going to work. You know, I drive out very few roll pins. I mean, that's not something I deal with a whole lot. So they'll work fine. So good tool review. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Hope you got something out of it. All the links for all the tools will be in the description. I know somebody's going to ask me about the Rockwell hardness testing files. I'll put a link where to find them if you want to get any of those. And once again, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. Y'all take care from Classic Work. I will see y'all next time.